Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dana.
And I'm Mike.
Well, I forgot to mention it's a mini. There you go.
Welcome back, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Thanks.
How are you?
Last time you were here was Temple of Doom? Is that what you're saying?
It was either Temple of Doom or private school.
Okay. I think Temple of Doom was
Temple.
after.
Temple Doom was last, yeah. All right, what you watch, Andy? Anything?
Well,
You didn't. I bet you didn't watch what I told you to
no,
watch.
I did not. Well, the New York Knicks are in the playoffs, so every other night has been consumed with basketball and tonight will also be because they couldn't close out last 2 nights ago. So
Why such a late start? 9 o'clock, right?
like 8 or something like that.
I
But it goes to like
till
11.
9 o'clock. I
so,
thought it was a late start for.
and that's my whole night basically. So yeah, it's been basketball. And Logan is such a basketball kid that it's not like he watches everything. He comes home, he's watching the game, whatever game's playing before the Knicks.
Yeah.
He watches the Knicks. He watches the next game. I'm like, basketball's not that interesting, but whatever. Somehow,
College basketball is,
I love the tournament.
Basketball is interesting in the last 15 seconds.
And it was so funny because
when that last 15 seconds can last so many minutes, man.
I know. Like that's,
on Saturday or Sunday, whenever they played the other night, but on the weekend game, I thought the game was at 6 o'clock. We'd been talking about, we got to be home by 6, blah, 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 blah. We go to take the dogs to the dog park at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Our old friend from work, Charlie, texts me. He's like, what the fuck's going on in this game? I'm like, what game? He's like, the Knicks game. I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, that game's on now. Like, shit, I didn't even realize. I said, so I'm like, we got to go home and watch the Knicks game. I didn't even know. So I didn't leave immediately. I just was like, I got to get it home by halftime. You want to do my music since the last time we talked? It's been a long time since the last time we talked. I got to tell you.
Yeah, what do you got?
You know about my 1001 albums to listen to before you die? Did we do that the last time you were on?
No.
So, since the beginning of the year, I got a website, 1001 albums you have to hear before you die. I've been going through them one a day, and listen, I got some awesome albums on this.
The site he goes to generates a random album.
They'll just give you one
list.
of the albums. They link it right to Spotify. I go to Spotify. I listen to it. I'll send you the link. You look interested. Yeah. Because I've gotten a couple other people doing it. So I got Electric Ladyland, Jimi Hendrix. I got Younger Than Yesterday, The Byrds. I guess it doesn't hold up to 2024.
Yeah.
I think at one point I would have said
It's a little too cheesy.
I would have said I love The Byrds. I got the Kinks, Arthur, parentheses, or The Decline of the Fall of the British Empire, which I really liked a lot, but man, they sound like a Beatles cover band back in 1968 or whenever this album came out. I was listening to it, I'm like, if you didn't tell me this wasn't the Beatles, or if I didn't know this was not the Beatles, I would have assumed this was the Beatles. They were just so trying to sound like them. I got Jurassic 5.
Is that like
Power in Numbers? Yeah. I gave this album a 5. I don't know Jurassic 5 that much. I listened to this album. I fell in love. I was like, I need more Jurassic 5 in my life.
Nice.
The problem with this thing is that whoever put this list together loves 90s British pop music. Because I got 2 Coldplay albums since the last time we played.
wait a minute.
See,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, man. I am not a fan. I got Blur once. I'll tell you right now, I am now an expert on British pop because I've gotten like 4 or 5 of these albums. I got a while ago Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory.
I love that album
is by far
so much.
the cream of the crop of British pop. Like, I understand why they got popular because I listened to that album. I'm like, this is a really good album compared to all the other stuff that tries to sound exactly like them.
Yeah.
Yep. That was very successful too.
Let's see,
I saw them in concert with
did you?
that twice. Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, I
saw that.
wouldn't want to go see them in concert.
Yeah.
But and I got
Their Unplugged was fun.
they did a
The
good
one
Unplugged,
dude
yes.
from the band sat up in the balcony.
Yeah. The one brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the other one sang this. The one who doesn't usually sing
one, yep.
ended up
Yeah.
singing. Yeah,
I got
it was still decent.
They were fighting for decades. I think they're still
They
good.
still-
Yeah, I think they
every
hate
time
each
I get
other.
one of these albums, I'll look them up because sometimes I don't know who the band is at all.
Yeah.
Like when I get Harry Nilsson or Mercury,
Nilsson's good stuff.
Harry Nilsson?
Mercury, like I don't know enough about them, so
Right.
I'll look them up. Mercury Rev, I don't even magazine.
I've heard of them.
Magazine, that's the guy from the Buzzcocks band after the Buzzcocks, which I didn't know until the other day when I got them, but
How was Magazine?
very good. I gave it a 4. But like I got the White Stripes first. I think White Blood Cells is their first album. I don't know, like
I think so, yeah.
like I know some White Stripes songs, just the ones that they play on the radio. This album was fucking boring, man. Like if you don't like his voice, if you don't like that kind of song, I was like, oh my
Well,
god.
isn't he country now?
See, I
don't
like the
even
rock
know.
on
He's like-
tours a lot,
Yeah.
too.
I mean, like I like the songs that I know by them, but this album was a bunch of songs I never heard by, and I was not a fan
It's
at
not
all.
like Seven Nation
And
Army.
I'll say, I got Queens of the Stone Age, their first album, not as good as any of the other Queen of the Stone Age music that I know by them. So anyway, it's been a weird
Josh Homme.
I saw
Yeah,
them
that's
too
a real hit and
with Foo
miss.
Fighters.
Oh,
Anyway.
I've seen them a bunch of times.
like,
Yeah.
so just like, you know,
Dean Ween played with them before too.
obviously Jimi Hendrix, Electric Relay Land. It's so funny because, you know, Jimi Hendrix is one of those guys that you know all the songs by him and stuff like that. But it was, as I'm listening to the album, I'm like, this song's been going on a long time, and it was called Voodoo Child. I'm like, what's happening here? Well, I know Voodoo Child, Slight Return, which is the last song on the album. It opens with Voodoo Child, which is like a 13-minute jam. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I like looked at him like, how do they play this song on the radio? It's not even the same song. I was like, okay.
That's like, did you ever hear the full version of Can't You Hear Me Knocking by the Stones?
Yeah, or and it got a DeVita, which is like 17 minutes long with a 14-minute keyboard solo. Because I got that album a couple weeks ago, and I was like, this is a terrible
Did you ever
album.
read how that album was made? Or why-
The song, because
how
he
that
was
song-
like
'cause
so fucked up, he couldn't say in the
words.
Garden of Eden or whatever it was. Like, so anyway, that was the music for the last couple of weeks. It's been a while since I talked about it.
I
and-
watched one movie this week.
Oh, anything we know?
Yeah, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Oh, how was that?
I liked it. Not as good as Afterlife. I really liked Afterlife,
Yeah.
but this one was it was up there. I enjoyed it.
Now that's one that just came out.
That's one that
right?
just
That's in
came
the
out.
theaters,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. I really I enjoyed that they're keeping it going. So I'm hoping for their third one. you
Hal
know.
Ramis in this one?
Not really so much. No,
He was in the last one, right?
He was a lot in Afterlife. He was in there a lot, but no, not so much this one. But
I'm signing my rights away to you guys right now. You can use my voice and likeness long after I'm dead for the exciting and new podcast.
You heard
can
it
keep
here.
using.
yeah. So I recommend watch
You're not
Afterlife.
here
And
now.
I've actually watched since we did Ghostbusters on the podcast. I then watched Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, you did watch
Yep.
two.
Then I
Okay.
watched Afterlife, and now I watch Frozen Empire. So I'm all caught up on all the Ghostbusters movies because I don't count that other one.
You don't count the female one.
I don't.
You don't count that.
That was a
one.
good one.
I did not like that at all.
Really?
I thought it was
I
garbage.
thought Chris Hemsworth was great.
So Chris Hemsworth was like the Annie Potts character,
Yeah.
right? He was like
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
male
'cause they had to
secretary.
switch
Still
every
has
gender.
one of the funniest lines I can remember, where he holds up the picture of himself and he's like, "So which one is sexier?" And it's him with no shirt on. He said, "Me playing the saxophone, or me listening to the saxophone." And the one he's playing, and the other one he's holding the saxophone up to his ear like a telephone. It was just
the sexiest,
the dumbest
the
thing.
sexiest Chris Hemsworth of all time is in the new Vacation movie where he comes into the bedroom with his gigantic heart on and he's just
That's ridiculous.
flexing all around. That is one of the funniest scenes. Like whenever I watch that movie, that scene's one of the best. I love Chris Hemsworth's big veiny penis. That's right.
Can we get
I
that
said it.
isolated?
Yes. I
wanna make
don't
it- I wanna
have
make a
to.
promo
You don't
out
have
of
to.
that.
I will say it to my mom on Mother's Day. I'll be like, Mom, let me tell you something. Dana, what do you got going on in your life?
Not much. I watched a new show. Did you watch Sandman? Did you watch that
I
show?
stopped watching after a couple episodes. It got way too.
It's weird, yeah.
Michelle was not having any of that.
Oh, did you
weirdness.
watch the Dead Boys?
Yeah, I watched the first episode, and it's the same universe.
sequel of that show? Or?
No, it's different show completely, but it's the same universe. So there's one character was in the first episode that was in the other show, but it's totally unrelated.
Is this
so
based
far.
on a Neil Gaiman comic also? In the same...
I think it said in the preview for it. I think it said it was based on DC characters.
Well, the Sandman's
Yeah.
based on a Neil Gaiman
Okay.
comic.
It
so
said
He's
it was-
one of the executive producers
So-
on it.
yeah.
I mean,
So basically,
Same
there are two
characters.
ghosts. They're ghosts, and they solve mysteries. Well, the first episode, they're finding a missing child or whatever. And yeah, it was okay. I don't know if I'm going to watch
is
it
this
anymore,
Netflix?
to be honest. Yeah.
Because Sandman was on Netflix,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's weird
So-
that DC just farms their shit out now instead of putting it on Max, but
Yeah.
I guess that's what Warner Brothers does
Yeah,
now.
but-
Yeah.
But that's not really considered DC.
But I'm just saying, at one point, everybody was trying to acquire IPs and just put it on their own streaming services. Now they're just putting it up like.
Well, they used to have a DC streaming
They
service.
did, and then they decided it would be better to have a Warner Brothers one, and then we could
a
have it
big
all.
failure.
Do they have a Warner Brothers streaming?
Well, HBO
That's what
Max
HBO
is.
Oh,
is
everything's
all
on
that.
HBO. Okay.
But
Yeah.
I saw all the Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond is all on Netflix now. It's like, so I guess they're not
really?
getting enough people come into their service that
Yeah.
justifies having that, they might as well just like give them to Netflix.
Well, I wonder if they're trying to combine things because I just switched my cellular service over to Verizon, and they were like, "Yeah, for $20 a month, we can get you a package. It's Netflix and Max." And I was like,
We
that's
we have Verizon, but we get Disney.
and Hulu. That was
And,
the other package they offered me.
It was something. I forget what it is, but Disney. I have Hulu separately because I have it with Spotify. But yeah, I don't really remember. But we have Disney free because of that. Well, I don't. Mario does. But.
I have T-Mobile with Hulu with commercials because we obviously didn't make a good deal
Yeah.
for any of our phone services.
Yeah.
They're like, you want this shitty service with commercials? We're like, yes, please.
Speaking of Max, I finished Conan O'Brien Must Go.
Oh, I have to finish
yeah.
that. I watched the first one and I was laughing so hard, especially in the beginning.
Wow, really? I
It's
watched
so
that
good.
first
So
one and
funny.
I was not
Oh my
impressed by
God.
that first episode.
The-
I
at
laughed
all.
so hard through the whole thing.
I really did.
I
Like
guess I'm
when
not a
he
Conan
went
guy.
over there and he went to that guy's apartment and it was when he got to like the village where he was dressed like a Viking, it wasn't as funny. But in the beginning, I thought it was so
Yeah,
funny.
there was some stuff that was corny.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
But I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. I laughed
did
hard
too.
a lot.
Yeah.
Did you see his Hot Ones thing?
I did not see it, but I heard
that
it's
was
very
the
good.
What is-
Yeah.
It was really funny.
What is that?
That's a
That's
show.
the Wings.
They interview
Sean Evans, I think the guy's name is, where he has celebrities and they eat the
at
wings. Yeah.
Oh, the wing show. Okay, no, I didn't see his.
Well, he brought this guy with him that he kept saying was his doctor. And he had the doctor come in and check him like throughout the thing. And the guy's like, stick out your tongue. And he pulled his, stethoscope out and he's sticking his stethoscope on his tongue. He's, oh, you don't look good. But anyway, then today I saw that he just interviewed the guy as the doctor on his podcast. It was hilarious.
Conan did. Conan interviewed the guy.
Conan interviewed the guy.
I don't know. I don't dislike Conan. I just don't think I'm a huge fan of Conan either. Because
Oh
I
my
watched
gosh.
that first.
I watch him a lot on
The
TikTok.
Norway one. I was
He's
like,
so
okay,
funny.
it's kind of funny, but
Yeah.
too much Conan is too much Conan.
Oh, no,
I
that can
agree
be
with
too
that.
much.
That's why I
too
watched
much of
it and-
anybody can be
Yeah,
too much of
exactly,
anybody.
yeah.
I watched one episode at a time
Yeah.
and make it easier that
Yeah.
way. So, yeah.
He does. I see his podcast sometimes, clips of it, and then he does stuff where I guess it was back when maybe he had a show or whatever. But he goes around and does stuff with his staff, especially like this one girl he always goes around with. Maybe she's his assistant,
Uh-huh.
and I find him so funny
I'll tell
and
you, the one-
a little cute.
The one person that would have been awesome in this day and age of like TikTok and all this shit would have been George Carlin. I would have watched him daily just go to like the supermarket and be
I
like,
don't think
Yeah.
he would have. Yeah, I don't think he would have bothered.
I'm just saying, if we could have taken like
I don't think he would have
60
been
or
on there.
50-year-old
Yeah.
George Carlin, just be like going to the supermarket and be like, "Oh my god, this is what I'm watching." Like
It's called
I
Mark
go,
Maron.
Yeah, but no one's George Carlin, man.
No,
No
well.
one is that guy. Anyway, what do you got going on in your life, sir? It's been a while since we've seen you.
Dude, I've seen so much lately.
All right, let's
Not
do it.
What's, have you seen Late Night with the Devil yet?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I did.
Awesome.
I liked it a lot.
Finally, somebody
I'm
I could
gonna
talk to
watch
about
it.
I told these
I
punks
swear
to
I'm gonna
watch
watch
it.
it.
They
I
said,
am.
"Oh, we'll watch it. We'll watch it."
It's
They
on
haven't
Shudder.
watched it, dude. I told them where to watch it. They're annoying.
Yeah, over the last 2 weeks, I saw that.
That was really good, man.
I saw Expendables 4.
Ooh,
I was
why'd you do
watching-
that?
I've never seen any of the
Watching,
Expendables movies.
I was hanging out with my dad a lot, so
I'll allow it.
The Beekeeper.
That's the Jason
with Jason
Statham, right?
Statham, yeah.
Yeah.
And
What's
Claire
that?
was Claire Huxtable in that?
Yes.
I
Oh,
don't know.
Felicia
For about
Rashad?
3
Nice.
minutes.
Yeah, she's
So-
the reason he goes on his revenge, right?
Blink and you'll miss
Yeah.
her.
She was the mom in Creed too, right?
Yeah.
Tessa Thompson's mom or Creed's mom. Creed's mom.
Creed's
mom.
Right, yeah.
Good for
And-
her. I like Felicia Rashad.
Yeah.
I love documentaries. I watched that whole stupid Bon Jovi documentary.
Oh my
on
God.
Hulu? I
They were
wanna watch
hyping that up so
I want to
much.
watch that one.
It was
yeah.
great.
Was
Wait,
it?
but is there
I say
anything
stupid.
interesting about Bon
I love
Jovi?
music docs, so I'm going to check that one out.
Okay.
Yeah, because it goes back and forth between the history of the band and the problems he's having with like his throat and stuff like that now. And
Do all lead singers eventually develop like throat cancer? Like Bruce Dickinson had it too. Like is that just
And
a
then
thing who's screaming
the
for 40
guitarists
years?
get
He's
their
got
guitar
something-
syndrome, you know?
he's got something where you have two vocal cords that are supposed to be the size of your thumb, and one was like half of that size.
Oh,
so
wow.
the other one was compensating for it. And anyway, there was a whole.
Is that why his voice is so bad now? Is what?
Yeah,
right?
he's saying
like
that if it doesn't.
genetic disorder, he had that,
Yeah.
like a smaller vocal cord or something.
But they were showing this stuff he was doing, where he had these special glasses on and shooting these lasers at his neck, and he's like laying down on the floor, and this guy's massaging his throat.
Hey, listen, man. If I'm the lead singer of a multi-million-dollar band, I guess I would do anything to keep my voice
I saw a
going.
clip. I don't know if it was from the documentary or whatever, but he was talking about how he's like, I was a rock star. He said I wasn't a good boy, so he was talking about how he must have cheated on his wife a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they didn't quite.
So maybe that was from something
alluded-
else.
They alluded and stuff like that, but it never quite. I mean, but they talked openly about the drug issues that they had, and they interviewed Richie Sambora about
can't
why he left the band, and
You can't stand
Is he
Bon
in the
Jovi
band
in
now?
general?
Or he's not in the band
he hasn't
anymore,
been in the
right?
band for like 10 or 12 years.
Oh, really?
That's interesting.
Yeah, he was
So-
supposed to show up to a gig and just never got on the plane.
And then never
Just
got
never-
with him again.
Or do they not speak?
Oh no, there's a quote, no animosity, but you can tell they're.
They have something there.
Well, he showed up to they invited him for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction and things like that.
That's right. Howard Stern induct. I was like,
Yeah.
Bon Jovi's in the Rock and Roll Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
that's
And
right.
Iron Maiden's not, but fuck, I guess the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's a piece of shit, but
What I didn't know was how fucking huge Bon Jovi was, even in the '90s, everywhere but the United States.
He had that
They were
big.
pretty
he had,
big
he
in
had a
the
couple
United
big
States.
hits in the
He was
90s.
big.
But as big as he was in
I
the
mean-
United
Oh, in the
States
80s,
in
he
the
was huge.
90s,
Yeah.
he was. He said during the '90s they got bigger
What, like Japan and shit
in
like
the
that.
rest of the world.
Yeah.
Spinal Tap is big in Japan too. That's why they go back on tour, but you know.
David Hasselhoff was really big in Germany.
That is
Germans
Really big.
love David
Still is.
Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jerry Lewis is gigantic in France, so you know. Everybody's got their kink.
Yeah.
You know what's really
Speaking
big
of
around
which-
here? Go ahead.
He's
Mike,
not
what do you
done.
got to say?
He's
I
not
know.
done.
I know.
Speaking of which, they're releasing that Jerry Lewis.
Oh,
clown
the
movie.
David Clown
that's
died?
right. Yeah.
They're releasing that
Do you know?
finally, huh?
Are they releasing that like to buy or what? Is it going to
don't
stream
know.
somewhere? Because I do want to watch
Who
it.
decided that was happening? Because I thought he said that will never. And I know he's been dead for a while, so. But
His family who went, we can do
yeah,
what?
yeah, but he could
Cha-ching?
have he could have burned it before he died.
But he
just-
didn't.
I know he didn't, but I wonder why they're not.
You gonna watch it?
Of course, man. They've been
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about that thing since before I was born.
Yeah.
That's like one of those.
Are you
movies.
going to watch it?
I don't even know what it is, but I'll watch it if you all do.
Did you see Life is Beautiful, the Holocaust movie with?
No.
This is similar to that, where he's
Oh, okay.
a
I
clown
actually
that gets.
really liked that movie.
It was a good movie. I don't think it deserved Best Picture that year, but that's
Was that
Roberto
Benigni?
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
similar to that, in many years before, Jerry Lewis plays a clown that gets taken to, I'm going to say Auschwitz. It could have been any concentration camp, and it's not a funny movie. It's not. He's
Yeah.
a clown in the sense that that's what his character is.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
And he didn't want it released. Why?
I think he said it was
It's too
either offensive
I think,
or
yeah.
too terrible.
Too,
and
too disturbing.
And Jerry Lewis, was always like the nutty professor.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you want to do that to your career? Although it probably would have
Although
been.
he wrote and directed it too.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was doing this unaware of what the
Yeah.
contents was.
Yeah.
I think after he saw it, he was like,
He was
"Oh,
hoping for it
shit,"
to
like,
be a little, I guess, little easier on the people. I guess
Maybe.
because
Yeah.
maybe it's just not.
And he made this like probably in the 60s. So the Holocaust had just happened like the week before. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Week before.
Yeah, it's not even 20 years old, and he's writing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
they were making World War II movies during World War II. So I don't know.
Well, you saw that 9/11 comedy that's coming out, right?
Is it, are we
Are you
there yet?
serious?
Is it 20,
Oh,
is it
geez.
23 and a half
I would not be
years?
surprised.
They make AIDS movies now, right? Comedies. What was the South Park thing? They said 23 and a half years or something like that. You could start
23 and a half
making
years
fun
and you can start being funny, yeah. But the thing I was going to tell you about earlier, you can check us out on Spreaker. Download, rate, subscribe, review, do all those fun things with the exciting and new podcast on all our socials. I am the Jazoo on Instagram, Jazoo74 on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it. This is a mini, and I am Jason.
A Gonzo on A Gonzo 1970 on Twitter. A Gonzo, fuck what on Instagram? I'm gonna say, but I think I got those backwards. I'm
Andy fucked up.
Yep. Dana Caps on TikTok, Dana Caps77 on Instagram. I'm Dana. Didn't mess up.
And I'm Mike, proudly on nothing.
We'll tag you.